Humans are about fables, myths, parables, tales, meaning that we take in and understand the world through stories. Stories about ourselves, our world, the supernatural world, worlds beyond, the real world and worlds imagined. These narratives answer the hundreds of questions which understandably arise just from living. These stories give meaning and coherence to events and forces which might otherwise seem disconnected, disjointed, even random. The Bible is a perfect example of story after story about what happened, how humans behaved, what God did, our relationship to God, and thus offers guidance to how we should behave and insights into what we can expect in the future. As each individual has a story, so does each family, each community, every region. Whole societies and entire nations also have a story. As citizens of perhaps the richest, most powerful nation in history, we are given a story, a narrative, a national mythology which presents a picture of what our country is about, what it stands for, and thus offers guidance to how we as citizens should behave and insights into what we can expect in the future. One of the key storylines of that narrative, the one I'm addressing here, is that the U.S. uses its wealth, military might, its diplomatic resources, its intellectual talents, its good intentions to spread peace and democracy around the globe. But look around you. Is the world moving toward peace? Is all of the effort we're putting into fighting terrorism and other enemies of our country making us safer? Less likely to have enemies and be embroiled in constant and endless conflict? The U.S. last year dropped 26,171 bombs on 7 countries, none of which are we actually at war with. We have tens of thousands of troops stationed at nearly 1,000 bases in 145 countries. It seems like we should be making some headway, doesn't it? Yet what do we see in the news? Supposedly we now see bad people everywhere out there. Though we've spent trillions of dollars trying to exterminate evil, mysteriously more evil seems to pop up wherever we look. Don't you find this at best puzzling, at worst very frightening? So I'm prompted to ask, is it possible that the forces of evil are winning? Or an opposite question, is there something wrong with what we're doing? Meaning, is there something dramatically wrong with the story we're being told? Now, I don't doubt the sincerity of the vast majority of everyday Americans. As citizens, in our innocence, our credulity, our faith in the wisdom and moral integrity of those we look to for leadership, we want to believe that we've installed good men and women, trustworthy public servants who are loyal to the Constitution, understand the enormous responsibilities of the choices and decisions they make, are good and decent human beings. Is this naive? Going back to the Bible, we see epic stories of corruption, deceit, hypocrisy, treachery. As capable as we as human beings are of living righteously, we are also capable of enormous, profound evil. So let me put my question a very different way. Is it possible that there are those among us who are so godless, so immoral, so committed to the service of evil that they will do anything to promote the destructive, homicidal scourge of war as part of a toxic, hidden agenda? After hundreds of hours of research, looking at original documentation, and often viewing the history and facts that are hidden before our very eyes, meaning available to anyone who just takes the time to look, I've reached some shocking conclusions. These definitely run completely contrary to the glittering narrative that we are being given by our government officials, the media, and even many of our political and spiritual leaders on whom we depend for wisdom and guidance. 1. Our entire current foreign policy is a lie. 2. The real agenda of our military might is world domination. 3. Our imperial ambitions serve a tiny, rich, and powerful elite at the enormous expense to the rest of us. 4. We are now being driven to a catastrophic, apocalyptic major world war, which may end all life on the planet. 5. And most importantly, this fraud and intrinsically evil enterprise must be stopped and only the good, decent citizens of our nation, who constitute a huge and potentially powerful majority, can stop it. All of my research, conclusions, and ideas for ending the military madness which now consumes vast amounts of our human and national resources and more captivates the public eye is contained in what I call the Peace Dividend Project. I can't promise you that what I have to say will be comforting or fun, but in the end, the Peace Dividend is hopeful and builds on the best that we as human beings are capable of. I hope you'll join me in promoting the peace and harmony central to the kind of world we wish to hand down to future generations.